It's Big Board Sports with Roger Wyland on 104.5 The Team.
The number one hitting instructor from All Stars Academy, who sees a lot of teams and a lot of players throughout the winter months, and then coaches at Ballston Spa and is all over the high school baseball scene. We've got high school baseball playoffs starting this week, and the pairings are coming out as we speak this morning. So it is literally live, local, and late breaking with our good friend Matt Frey. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Roger.
So where we start? Who's the team? What do we got? Give me Chris Honorata. You're all over this too. We have opening matchups, don't we?
We do.
Pairings are out.
The brackets are out, and if we start in the double A's, the top overall seed there is CBA, 13-2 on the year. Niskayuna is the 2, 12-3, and then obviously our guest in studio can tell us a lot about the 3 seed.
Yeah, which is Ballston Spa. How about the 1? Start there with CBA. Deserving, Matt Frey, CBA getting number 1.
Oh, absolutely. They've had a terrific year. I said in the beginning on the show that they'll have the best offensive team. And they have. They put up a lot of numbers. They did a lot without one of their best players, Nick DeBrino. Now they got him back. So they're going to be dangerous going into sectionals. You know, they beat Niskayuna. I'd say they're for sure the team to beat.
Is Niskayuna legit number 2? I mean, they kind of snuck up on. I didn't have them on the radar in the preseason, but here they are as the number 2 seed.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys have played together for a long time. 1 through 9, they're all scrappy, tough outs. I'd say they have the best middle of the lineup, 3, 4, 5 with Senecal and Sanya and Funyak. At one point, all three of them were leading Suburban Council in RBI, so they can hit.
And then you get to the 3 seed, and you made a heck of a run last year. And I don't know what the expectations were for Ballston Spa, but here you are, Matt Frey, and you guys are right there at the number 3. Tell me about your team and where you are at heading into the postseason.
Well, I don't believe the expectations were too high. I think we were definitely under the radar. We lost a lot of key players, including the Player of the Year, Zach Durfee, who's having a heck of a year at Siena this year. But we had some guys returning. 3 of our infielders returning, 3rd, short, 2nd. We have a sophomore in Luke Gold that I think is the hands-down Player of the Year. He's leading Suburban Council in batting average, slugging percentage, and on base, and he's a true sophomore. And he's really carried this team and we have a couple of really good arms. We have Grady Garries, who's been our ace, and Buff, who's got a couple of big wins. If we play well, I have us beating anybody.
Top 4 seeds get a bye. The 4 seed is Saratoga. Out of these first-round matchups, teams that actually have to play a first-round game, Matt, Shen Troy, Bethlehem Guilderland, LaSalle Columbia, and Colony Shaker. What's a matchup to watch in that?
I think Shen Troy will be good. Troy is very hot right now, but so is Shen. Shen is 8-2 in their last 10 games. They didn't start off very well at all, and now they're coming along strong. I think they're all going to be good matchups, honestly. Shaker Colony is something to look out for. Ryan Lambert's back for Colony, and they were my pick to win in the beginning of the year, and now they got kind of all their pieces back together, so they should be tough. I'll tell you, there's not a team that I'm looking at that I really want to play or a team that I don't want to play. I think they're all pretty even at this point.
All right, let me go back on Colony a little bit. You're right. Ryan Lambert injured and hasn't really pitched, right? Has he pitched much at all?
He just came back a couple of weeks ago. He's thrown a little bit, 2 games.
All right, but now you're going to get him back in that rotation. Does that all of a sudden make Colony, which had a decent year so far, does that make them really dangerous going into the playoffs?
Oh, absolutely. The guys, their go-to guy with Lambert, Hurt was Spencer Wall, who's a lefty, who pitched against us. He's very good, very competitive, one of the more competitive pitchers that I've seen this year. And they have Brett White, another lefty, Nathan Toms, and they have Sal Fusco too. They're loaded with the pitching staff. So.
I got to be careful here because Guilderland's Colony now. That's my base now because they got Brady coming up through being the Colony system. But my older son, Matt, he came through the Guilderland system, so I'm very familiar with the coaching abilities of Mr. Doug LaValle. I know you train with his team during the winter. What about this Guilderland team? And they got Bethlehem, right? You said Bethlehem in the prelims.
Yeah. Yeah, Coach LaValle is one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in Section 2. He really gets the most out of their kids. They've had an up and down year. When they've played well, they've beat Shen, they've beat us. They've lost some games that they were really close that they shouldn't have. They're going to be tough. I mean, they worked with us all year for the past few years, and they're one of the more close-knit groups that I've worked with. They work well together, and that means a lot, especially this time of year. You know, guys that are rooting for each other and pulling for one another.
What about their matchup with Bethlehem? Is that a good one on paper? That
is a good matchup on paper. They have, I don't know who they'll go with, whether it be Hunter Harris, who's had a great year at Gilliland, or Grayback, who's a phenomenal pitcher. And Bethlehem, they'll probably go with Marinzak or Harder. They both have two very good number ones. So it could be a low-scoring game. But when we play Bethlehem, they hit the ball. Both teams beat us this year. So both teams are dangerous in my mind.
Matt, let me have you jump to Class B, because there's a terrific pitcher in Class B for the top overall seed spot. Catholic Terrell Tillman is one of the talents of the area for sure. And I got to shout out real quick the 8 seed Tamarack, where my brother coaches, an 11-5 season, something they haven't done in a long time. Tamarack, but. Talk about Tillman, if you could, for a little bit. He had a terrific game to lock up that Wasserman League title for Spa Catholic. 13 strikeouts, I think 1 hit. What have you, if any, seen from him?
Oh, I've been not pitching wise, but I've been working with Terrell for a long time. He's a great kid. All those kids at Spa Catholics are tremendous kids. They really get the idea of team unity. Terrell, he's always had a tremendous breaking ball, and now he's gained some significant significant velocity on his fastball. He's as good as really anyone in the area right now. He's spotting his fastball, you know, getting guys out with that breaking ball. He's tough. He's going to be tough.
And Fonzie Lambert, man.
Oh, come on. That was my follow-up question to you, Chris. And for what you said, it bounced off as I'm reading James Allen, that we'll have on the Friday show at 11:15, and we get into the lacrosse and the softball, and it all kind of getting going right now with Matt Frey, the number 1 hitting instructor from All Stars Academy and the assistant coach from B Spa. But James Allen wrote about Fonzie today. He has guided Spa Catholic to titles in 3 different leagues entering 2017. Make it 4 because they're playing in their first season in the Wasserman. And they captured the championship Friday night, 7-0 over Hoosick Valley. So, I mean, Fonzie Lambert is, talk about really good coaches in the capital region, have been around for a long time. He's got to be at or near the top of the list as well.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Every year, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, they had some loaded teams, and they've had some very good teams, talent-wise in the past few years, but he really gets the most out of his players. Every year I look in and I say, they're going to be a little down this year. Then they turn around and have a terrific season.
We're talking with Matt Frey. Matt, one other question I want to ask you. And when you get to this point, the playoffs, what is the difference at this level? I mean, what needs to happen here? I mean, you're trying to win games during the regular season. Now you're the playoffs. It's you win, you're moving on. You lose, you're done. What is the difference? I mean, is it really just start on the mound, or what would you say are the differences in winning playoff games in high school baseball?
Well, I think experience is probably the number one thing. If you've been there, and not too many teams have a lot of experience. You know, the league was completely turned over, but there's some teams, you know, Colony, who's got guys that pitched into the postseason. But yeah, it comes down to, like anything else, pitching and defense. And if you can, you know, hit when it matters, you know, there's a lot of games that we've been out hit that we've won, because we've came up with some really clutch hits. And I think that's one of the best things that we do is we play amazing defense and we throw strikes. And if that happens, then good things are going to happen for us or anybody who does that.
We have a call, Mike in New Lebanon, 476-1045. We're talking high school baseball playoffs, the pairings. The seedings are coming out right now, so it's live local A breaking, and we go to Mike in New Lebanon on Chatham baseball team. Good morning, Mike.
Roger, how are you?
I'm good, Mike. How are you, man?
Chatham, too. I know Scott Stelz always does a good job down there. And Ichabod Crane, I was going to say, my kid played summer baseball, and then he worked out in the winter, actually at All-Stars with a bunch of those Ichabod Crane kids, and it's been the same 6 or 7 there. I know one of the kids is going to Western New England to pitch, but your thoughts on Ichabod Crane and Chatham. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Matt. Any thoughts on some of the smaller schools that Mike just brought up?
Well, yeah, Chatham is very well coached. Coach Stelz and I coached together with the Albany Dutchman. And
Stelz, he's the man.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
great guy. I just started working with his kids. They're going to be studs too. But he brought his guys, a few of his guys in. He's got a lot of two-way players, but he brought 4 or 5 of them in this year, and they can hit. They can put the ball in play. They can hit for power. They're a very good team. And Ichabod Crane, I think, and I might get in trouble for saying this, I think Ichabod Crane could compete with AA.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Why is that?
I think they have a lot of experience. They got a lot of guys that have played on that team for years. They got an ace. They got a guy that 2 other guys that can win any game, and 1 through 9 they hit. I think they would compete in AA.
Speaking of AA, Matt, what would you say? I mean, I know we always a crutch is to say it's always wide open. It's wide open again. We precede. It's wide open. So is it wide open, or are we locked into is there a team to beat in the AA's with the pairings that just came out this morning?
Well, last year we were in the same situation. We got the 3 seed, and looking at last year, you had
it's Shen last year.
Shen with the Anderson boys, Ian Anderson especially coming back.
So they would have been the team to beat.
They were most definitely the team to beat. But also after that, you had CBA with Ramo, who's pitching at George Washington right now. There was some loaded teams last year. So, we were hopeful last year, but kind of on the outside looking in, as was any school when they knew they had to face Ian Anderson, a number 3 overall pick. But this year, I think it's been proved that anyone can beat anyone. I mean, Niski and CBA are very tough, talent-wise, very, very tough. But on any day this year, teams have beat up on each other. So
not much separation from the 1 seed to the 5 seed.
No, you got Shen with the 8 seed right now, and Shen is 10-5, and they're 8-2. Like I said, in the last 10 games, they have 2 very solid pitchers. They play Shen baseball. They hit behind runners. They get guys in, and they play defense. They're a tough team.
Well, Matt, we appreciate a few minutes. Always fun to get this thing cranked up.
Real quick, Raj, before we let you go, Matt, I see you wearing the Dutchman hat, and Scott Seltz and I have been talking a little bit back and forth. I know he's a host family for players coming to the area to play for the Dutchman, and I know that the team is looking for other host families to step up and take in a ball player for the summer. So if you want to get involved, just go to the Dutchman website. You can reach out to the people you need to there to become a host family, because I know they're in a little bit of need of that right now. Sounds like that'd be a fun experience, Matt.
Oh, yeah. We need actually 18 players to be hosted, and I had a couple of my lessons did it last year. And, in many cases, most cases, especially if you have kids playing baseball, is one of the best experiences you'll have. You develop lifelong relationships with these players. And, they go out and they play catch with them. They're busy, so it's not like you have to cart them around and have to, deal with them 24 hours a day. For the most part, we're playing 18 hours a day of baseball. But it's a great experience, especially if you have younger children that are involved in the game.
There you go. Well, somebody is interested. It sounds like a really cool opportunity. Good luck, Matt, to B Spa, and we'll get back in touch. Thanks for a few minutes here on Big Board Sports.
Yeah.